Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis here, and I recently sat down with Ron Cook from Full Sail University. Now, he's the program director for their Innovation and Entrepreneurship Masters of Science degree, and this is a 12-month program, and you can find out more about it at fullsail.edu/twist, fullsail.edu/twist. And we started by talking about the purpose of their program, so please enjoy. So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurs. You have a course in it and a program. This is a master's degree. What do students get if they take this program, and who is the program designed for?
Yeah, the purpose of the degree program is to take someone from an idea to launch in a 12-month period. So it's oriented specifically toward people with some idea they want to do a startup. So we're going to shepherd them through that process, and at the end, we can't obviously force them to start, but they'll be prepared to start their business at the end of the program.
And how does the program manifest itself? Do they come to a physical location, or this is all virtual, right? This is all online, so anybody can take it from anywhere?
Yes, and we have students scattered all over the place, so they communicate as we're doing now. We're communicating via virtual session. Our students communicate with their teachers the same way, and on chat and email and video lessons and all different kinds of things. But we're highly interactive in our learning management system, the way we deliver education virtually.
So the big criticism about teaching entrepreneurship is some people say, hey, you can't teach it. Either you're an entrepreneur or you're not. Do you buy into that, or do you think it can be taught? I suppose you think it can.
Well, obviously there's been a lot of research I'm sure you're aware of in terms of whether these entrepreneurs are born or made, nature, nurture, all that sort of stuff. And people have very strongly held beliefs about their opinions about it. I think most people come down to the idea that it's really a mixture of both, and there are certain traits and characteristics that are indicative of people that might have a greater propensity for entrepreneurship, and then other things that we absolutely can teach. So it's a blending of the two things. I could think of a lot of different traits that I would look for in an entrepreneur, and then I would try to teach to the things that they don't have.
And is the program that you run directed at people who are coming out of college with their, let's say, undergraduate degree and want to get a master's in entrepreneurship? Or is it somebody who's been working for 10 or 15 years, but maybe in a big company in like a mid-level position and maybe never learned what it means to be an entrepreneurship? Is it people like making a career change?
It's a combination of both, and we have people that have just graduated from another four-year college or university. We also have people coming back from business where they have a burning idea and they'd really like to make that a reality, and that's why they come to us.
Why would somebody go to get a degree as opposed to, say, just starting a startup?
Yeah, well, I think there are a couple answers to that. One is that the role of colleges and universities is to provide these entrepreneurs, these innovators, with the business literacy they're going to need in order to properly execute their idea. And I don't have to tell you, you know better than I do, that the number of business failures, entrepreneurs go out, start, and fail. There are a variety of different reasons for that. But if we can provide the business literacy they're going to need, and by that I mean finance, the law, marketing, etc., then they'll certainly have a better chance of success. It's still going to be tough. I think a second reason is that some people like the structure. I'm here, I want to get to here. In terms of launching my business, we have a systematic way to do that. We follow the lean startup approach. And I think they feel comfortable with that because they know where they are, they know where they want to be. And then finally, which is the thing I like most as an educator, we create what I would call sort of a safe laboratory environment. And it's a great place to test your hypothesis, check your business model, test it on other people. We put you in business scenarios using case studies and other things. You make decisions, and in our environment, at the university environment, it's okay to fail. It's okay to make some mistakes. If you were actually doing a startup, that little hiccup cost you, $100,000.
So let's talk about what characteristics of entrepreneurship you think are important that people need to develop. What are the core skills there, or the core traits?
Okay, well, I would say if we wanted to start with the ones that I would suggest are innate, that people actually need to either have or not have, that we probably can't impact as much as others, would have to be the ability to stomach some risk, to be able to have some not to be risk averse. If people are risk averse genetically, they're not likely to be entrepreneurs. They have to tolerate some level of ambiguity. You know, in entrepreneurship and especially doing startups, things aren't going to fall together, in a sequential order. We all know that. So they have to be able to handle that. And there's, with a lot of talk here about not just having the cognitive capacity to understand things and execute things, but to have that fluid intelligence, that ability to absorb concepts and actually implement them, use them. I believe, as you've said in the past, that they get it.
Yeah.
Because they can actually take something and incorporate it immediately. Desire, passion, all those kinds of things. That's sort of a part of your genome.
Yeah.
I believe, and it's hard for us to really significantly impact those. We can, I believe, through practice. But if we look at skills we can develop, we develop those business literacy skills, and we teach financial concepts and principles, and we teach marketing concepts and principles. We teach legal issues, everything from intellectual property to proper forms of business formation, and so on and so forth. So we can teach to those. The other thing I would have to say, I think we can teach people to have better interpersonal skills.
Now that's
It's
critical.
one of the things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, very important.
I have to say, I think like the risk tolerance thing is such a key thing, and the tolerance for ambiguity. And I do think you can learn them over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but learning when you see things fail and then people actually keep carrying on in their career, it's actually a great sign that you're kind of developing as an entrepreneur, where you don't take failure in a specific attempt too personally.
Yeah, absolutely. We need positive thinkers. People, somehow their brain is wired that way. They always see it as half full, not half empty. They persist even in the face of occasional failure. They won't give up. And of course, the interesting thing is those same traits can actually work against an entrepreneur if they're unable to pivot when they need to pivot, because they're so persistent and so positive thinking, and maybe the market's telling them something else. So it can work both ways.
And are you too old ever to become an entrepreneur? What's your thinking on that? Some people say, hey, it's a young person's game. Do you buy into that? Or do you think people who are over 40 or 50 can actually learn to be a great entrepreneur?
No, I don't buy into that. And I think if we look statistically, you'll see the number of people that are starting companies that are 40 and above. It's not like everybody right out of college is going out trying to do a startup. But I think you can. I think you can be taught. I think you can master the skills, everything you need to become a successful entrepreneur at an early age. And going back to that whole liquid intelligence thing, the whole, having a fluid intelligence, that's going to diminish over time when we get more set in our ways. We don't want to take in a lot of new information. So, the younger entrepreneur sometimes has an advantage in that regard, willing to try new things.
Yeah, being naive and not knowing something can't work could lead to you actually figuring out how to make a non-traditional approach work. And then all this, I have to say, this whole concept that it's a young person's game, we're seeing over and over again 35, 40, 45, 50-year-old entrepreneurs come into the space with a great idea, a lot of doggedness, maybe a little battle scars from their previous gigs, and they make it work. So I don't buy into this like it's a young person's game just because some of the outliers have been 19 or 20-year-olds. I think a 40, 50-year-old might have a great amount of information and knowledge and experience under their belt to make it work.
Yeah, completely agree. And those people would have a little bit more confidence, might carry themselves in a different way, might have a better network, a support network that a younger person might not have yet developed. So there are positives for both.
Do you see a certain type of position result in people wanting to be an entrepreneur and joining the Full Sail Entrepreneur program, i.e. a salesperson or an operations person, accounting person, a technical person? Who joins? What positions excel?
I think what they have is I'm not trying to avoid the question, they have what I would just call a little bit of a spark. They have something that they think is an idea. They want some validation to find out, is this just a hobby that I think could be a job and ultimately an entrepreneurial idea? Is it something that can really be developed? And one of the things, of course, that we teach, using, again, a more of a lean approach, is we want to make sure they understand the only people that can really validate that business model are their potential customers. So our entire instruction is around a very customer-centric model where we need to get validation from the people that are really going to make us successful.
So building a minimum viable product and actually talking to customers. I mean, these are some of the best practices in lean startup and just startup best practices in general. You kind of bring these people in and force them to face the scary concept for a lot of people of actually talking to a customer and asking, do you want this? And giving them the product and seeing if they actually are willing to pay for it.
Yep, absolutely. And what we do as educators, we try to ease them into it for exactly the reason you just said. It is sort of scary. So what we tell them to do when they tell us their idea, we start to flesh it out a little bit and take that approach. We want them to go talk to first their families, their friends, their fellow students, non-risky. You're not talking to perfect strangers. And then, to be honest, pretty soon after that, we do have them go out and talk to potential customers, and they're surveying them and talking to them and showing them what they're intending to do, showing them that minimum viable product, as you said, and getting their feedback. And as you know, it's just an iterative process. It just continues to evolve.
How many hours a week does a student in the entrepreneurial program need to put in to be successful? Is this a 5-hour-a-week thing or a 50?
Just purely on their schoolwork and assignments, not including developing their business on their own, which is a whole different thing. They're going to be putting in 20 plus hours a week with direct online instruction, working on assignments, turning in things, doing presentations, learning how to refine everything from here's my business model. Now let's do that in one page. Now let's do it in one paragraph. Let's put it in 140 characters or less. Can we be that succinct?
These are all great things. I mean, it sounds like a great program. And so you're going to put 1,000 hours in 12 months minimum.
It is rigorous. And again, in the online environment, these students are very likely to have jobs, families, other responsibilities. So working in a master's level school program around their personal lives is quite an undertaking.
And this is a relatively new program you're doing at Full Sail?
Yes, it just started a little over a year ago. So we're starting to see graduates come through now. We're very excited about it.
If people are interested in joining the program at Full Sail, and I hope they go take a deep look at it because, hey, listen, there are specific techniques, and these are the techniques of the lean startup that you've heard us talk about on the show many times. Where would they go for more information?
They go to fullsail.edu, and they'll get information about any of the many degree programs that are offered.
All right, Ron, listen, this has been a great discussion. I really appreciate you guys supporting the program, and good luck with the program. If you ever need a guest speaker, I'm always available on GoToMeeting. Would love to meet the students or take any questions from them anytime.
Cool. We'd certainly love to have you, and thanks again for having me.